And Penny just took off her sunglasses. If you check us out over on my page, Anne, A-N-N-E, you'll see a real cute picture of Penny wearing her sunglasses and her Friday Bahama shirt because she says, Mom, it's the weekend and we got to do some fun stuff this weekend. I don't know what we're going to do, Penny, but we will try. Anyways, check out Penny is developing to be quite her personality self, and she now is wearing different outfits, hopefully every day. We'll see. We usually try to snap those right before we go live on Facebook and live on the radio. So, anyways, here we are. We had a lot to talk about here this morning, as always. Someday I'd like to come on and say, there's absolutely nothing to talk about. So let's just sit here and be calm. Mom. Maybe that would be something cool to be able to do. But this morning is not one of those mornings, folks. Late yesterday afternoon, we got a lot to talk about, as I said. But the theme of the day, I think, is how should Greenwood make decisions that affect the future? Isn't that what we're always looking at? We can't go back and change the past, but we can definitely learn from the past, and we should learn from the past. So many times, though, we don't learn from the past. But in today's show, we're going to be talking Greenwood Data Center update. We're going to have the moratorium versus the taxed amendment. Many of you on Facebook may already know about this. I want to talk a little bit about the Spartanburg Project Spiro comparison to Greenwood. We also have a great story about human library concept, community storytelling, breakfast for a bunch, upcoming community events, and a strange Michigan wine bottle. What does all that have to do with? I also want to play the interview that Fox Carolina did with Police Chief T.J. Shadone a month after D.J. Keller's death. So I think you'll find that. If you haven't heard it, you will enjoy hearing that. It certainly is, though sad, it's also positive and uplifting. But before we get started, let's go ahead and talk about, what are we going to talk about? The weather, of course, the weather. Already been outside with Penny here this morning, and we are going to, let's see. I got too many notifications coming in here. Focus, Ann, focus. That's the focus. It's 84 degrees out there. Feels like 91. We are headed for a very, very hot 96 today with a low of 73. No real chance of any rain today. We have mainly sunshine and a few afternoon clouds. Could be a stray shower or thunderstorm, but not very likely. Saturday comes in with a high of 94, low of 72, and we have about a 25% chance of some showers. So that's pretty normal for this time of the year. Also, Sunday, of course, is Father's Day. Am I right on that? I think I am. Yeah. Well, it's Flag Day. No, Father's Day is a week off, Ann. It's not till the 21st. You have time. It's not Father's Day, but it is Flag Day on Sunday. We'll talk a little bit about that. So those are some of the things that are happening right here. Monday comes in, cools off a little bit, high of 88, low of 68, and a 20% of some rain. So that kind of gives you the update. If you're going to be outside today, it's going to be hot. So be prepared. Now, what else are we talking about here today? Well, I find this totally amazing. Now, I don't know if I had anything at all to do about it, but we've been talking about why can't you have a moratorium being working through the system and the text amendment and see where it all falls out, or could you actually have both? Well, I don't know what the answer is to that, but I can tell you this, that Greenwood County yesterday afternoon at around, around 4 o'clock, I think it was, they decided to put this text amendment on the agenda for Tuesday, not the text amendment, to put a new piece, the moratorium aspect. So what it says, I'm going to read it so nobody can accuse me of not doing it right here today. It says, this was Greenwood County's government. Please see the following statement from Greenwood County Council Chairman Theo Lane. In considering matters related to data centers, I have applied the same standard that has guided every decision I have made since being elected to the county council, determining what is in the best interest in Greenwood County as a whole. After consulting with my fellow council members and listening to the concerns of our citizens, I believe it is in the county's best interest to have a full and transparent public discussion regarding a potential moratorium on data center development. Accordingly, I have placed, this is Theo Lane speaking now, Ordinance 2026-25, a proposed 12-month moratorium on data centers on the agenda for first reading in title only at the regularly scheduled Greenwood County meeting on June 16th. The ordinance was proposed by District 2 Councilman Mark Allison, District 4 Councilman Kathy Miller, and Vice Chairman Dane Pruitt of District 5. In addition, the second reading and public hearing for the proposed moratorium will be held during the Council's regularly scheduled meeting on July 7th. At that same meeting, Council will also consider third reading of Ordinance 2026-19, the Data Center Text Amendment. County Council is committed to fully evaluating both ordinances, listening to the public input, and working together to craft the best solution for Greenwood County. Well, hallelujah, hallelujah. Finally, I've got to commend Kathy Miller, Dane Pruitt, and Mark Allison for coming forward and wanting to put forward that amendment for the moratorium. I also will commend Theo Lane, Councilman Chair, for listening to the folks that were at the meetings both Monday night and on Saturday morning, and the outcry that has been at every council meeting about this. So I think this is what the folks wanted. I think it should definitely have the option of being there. And although I don't know all the answers to how this would exactly work, I do think that two things can be happening at once, right? So when as far as the text amendment, where that is at, which would be to allow text data centers with specific conditions, Greenwood County Council voted 5-2 to advance the proposed data center text amendment on second reading. The Planning Commission previously had recommended a 24-month moratorium to allow additional study and development of stronger regulations. Now, the amendment still has to pass third reading. And I think the big question now is, do you support data centers? It's no longer about that. The discussion now is, what process should Greenwood use to make this decision? I think the question is, and always has been, why not the moratorium? And the Planning Commission recommended a 24-month moratorium. So the question is, if the concern was that a developer could take advantage of the current lack of regulations, why wasn't a temporary moratorium adopted while stronger regulations were being developed? Let me repeat that now. If the concern was that a developer could take advantage of the current lack of regulations, why wasn't a temporary moratorium adopted while stronger regulations were being developed? Per their own admission, council, people in the audience who had read the text amendment, it did have some guidelines, but certainly was not real strong. So, and as they all said, Toby, Chappell, Theo, they just quote one and two, and I am paraphrasing, get something in place, get something in place. I think, in my personal opinion, and again, this is just my personal opinion, a moratorium would have been the first step. They opted for their text amendment. Now they have decided, Theo Lane decided, that it was in the best interest of our community to put the moratorium ordinance on the table. So as I was thinking about this last night and how things were going, I decided to look back at the Spartanburg comparison project. That is, it's not an exact match, but it mirrors. It was called Project Spiro. And this is where a data center was making inroads to coming into Spartanburg. The concerns included the infrastructure, the water usage, the power consumption, incentives, and community impacts. And of course, this was something, they had some incentives in the project. And of course, right now, we only know that 3 industries have put forth have put forth interest in possibly coming to Greenwood. So what lessons should Greenwood learn from the Spartanburg experience? I think that could be something to have some further discussion about. Don't know if you were familiar with this story, but and we're not going to get too deep in the weeds today, but in the end, the Spiro project left and decided not to come to to Spartanburg, excuse me. They decided not to come to Spartanburg, so they withdrew their offer for a data center. I think at that point the people decided that that standing up is something good. And truthfully, I am glad our community is standing up. This is something that is important. Your government is only as good as you make it. That's an opinion by Ann Eller. Which is why sometimes I rail against our governments, whether it's our state, our local government, our state government, or our federal government. So in comparison to Newberry just outright rejected a proposed project and adopted the 12-month moratorium, citing that they needed more time for additional study. So there's 2. And then, of course, there is over there in Aiken and Augusta, where they're looking at each data center almost on an individual basis, not as a blanket rules or regulations for data centers, because they say it depends on the size, where they're going, yada yada yada. So the question that still seems to be unresolved is when it went in front of the Planning Commission, the ordinance contained setbacks, noise requirements, utility studies, buffers, lighting restrictions, decommissioning plans, yet the Planning Commission recommended denial. Question: What concern remained unresolved? Why did the Planning Commission decide to go forth with a recommendation of denial and they actually wanted a 24-month moratorium? One of the things I do want to remind everybody is a moratorium can be put in for 12 months, 24 months, whatever time period, but also can be lifted just as soon as enough information has been found, put together to solve the problem that they're trying to deal with. So while they're saying a year, and I think it could be renewed if, let's say, at the end of a year, we are still not ready to make some decisions about what to do with data centers. It could be, well, you might have to do a new one, but they could continue it. But you can also lift a moratorium at any time. So that's just a few of the things that are still lingering questions. You know, they still are having county council has set up on the 30th, for those, June 30th, they have set up a, what do I want to say? They are setting up an informational, there you go, that's what I want to say, an informational period for people to be able to go and talk about just the amendment, though, just the amendment. So from that standpoint, that's pretty interesting. That'll still go on the 30th. It will be at the library, at the Veterans Auditorium right there at the library. We'll get you more information on that, but if you want to go to that and ask questions, it says none of the county council people or staff will be there, but I think it will be, was it Planning Commission? I'll have to look that up. I don't actually remember, but we'll be talking more about that because that will be coming up on the 30th, So let's see, what does it say? It says it right here, so we don't have to guess. To help residents better understand the proposed text amendment, this is for the one to allow data centers with guardrails. The Greenwood County Planning Department will host a drop-in information session on Tuesday, June 30th from 5:30 to 7 in the Veterans Auditorium at the Greenwood County Library. This session will be led by Planning Department staff and will focus exclusively on the language and provisions contained within the proposed text amendment. County council members and other county departments will not be in attendance. Questions regarding economic development matters, moratorium proposals, or topics outside the scope of the text amendment will not be addressed during this information. So at this point, those are your two options. One, to put the moratorium in place. Two, to look at this text amendment. And of course, one of the questions I have is, can both things be going on at once? Can you have a text amendment and a moratorium? That, I guess, would be my final questions. So I guess, and the other thing I would like to say is, what changed between last week and this week? Well, we had two big meetings that were not county council meetings that were done, one as a Democrat at the Democratic monthly meeting and one at the Republican meeting. So can Greenwood pursue both paths at the same time? That's a big question for me. And if both ordinances pass, how would they work together? Or would they work together? Does one take precedent over the other? What information would Greenwood gain during the moratorium? And how much public input is enough before major growth decisions are made? Well, I think we should have a lot. You know, in Newberry, one of the things that was very prominent in their discussion was how the folks down there, because I saw several interviews where the people down there said, we don't want our community to change. This was in Newberry. We like the idea of a rural community. So to me, the message that was being sent by Newberry residents, and they put I believe it's a 2-year moratorium in place, is they don't want data centers at all. They would rather our communities, our council, look for alternative types of business for the area. And isn't that really what the question is? Should not Greenwood be able to help shape the type of businesses or industries that come to Greenwood? I think so, but does county council, do we have a say in the type of things that make up our community? I mean, we have great partners here. We have Caterpillar. We have the dog food place. We have a lot of businesses. E.W. Sween is out there in the spec building that the county touts is doing very, very well, and they did do well on that. So as you look forward, we need to be addressing not only the question of the data centers, but what do we as a community want our community to look like? So I just wanted to do that today because I thought that would be important. It would be important. So does this conversation with data centers just really help us define what Greenwood County wants to look like? Maybe that's the question. Does the data center issue help define what we want Greenwood County, South Carolina, to look like futuristically? Do we want it to look like? I mean, I watched something yesterday, and oh my God, it just went on and on and on about data centers and how they start taking over. And I mean, we have created this monster because we like having all this data out there to be able to get to. And of course, it needs to be stored somewhere. But have we created this monster? That's the question, right? Have we created the monster? I think we might have. Do you have questions or input here this morning? Love to hear your conversation. 864-332-9355. That is, of course, our text and call-in line. And or you could join me on Facebook Live and say hello, and this is what I'm thinking about. Let's check on Penny here this morning and see what she's thinking. She's out. I guess I need to find a more fascinating conversation here, right? Well, anyways, here's Penny when she's alive and feeling good and feeling like she's the center of attention. A penny for your thoughts. Penny would like to hear them. And where do you call? 864-332-9355. Give us a call today. 864-332-9355. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, but I would love to get your input, 864-332-9355. I'd love to know what you think about the county finally coming forth and putting forth this moratorium. The 3 council people that came forth and said we need to do this, Kathy Miller, Councilwoman Kathy Miller, Councilman Dane Pruitt, and Councilman Mark Allison. So I think this is a good step. This is a good step. And now with this in front of the council and the continued input from our community, we should be able to arrive at a decision that marks all the boxes for all the people. I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. We are going to hear a quick commercial break. We'll be back. Got a lot more to talk about. Have you ever heard about the human library? Yonk, yonk, yonk. Might be time to learn about it. Take it away. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Well, are we going to be right back? We should be right back. What's wrong here? All right, here we go. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. There we go.
There's no place like this place anywhere.
Hey, did you see Bob? He just tried a yoga class, upside down.
And Jane just swam 10 laps while juggling her water bottle.
Somehow, I feel like I belong here.
You do. This is the Greenwood YMCA, where everyone's having fun and everybody knows your name.
There's no place like this place anywhere. Come join the fun and make 2026 the year you belong. At the Greenwood YMCA, there's no place like this place.
Screens, 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 rescreens, new screens. Do you need screens? Windows or doors? Call Cross Creek Glass, 864-223-3803. Next to the hospice store, 225B North Creek Boulevard. Don't let the bugs in. Get screened at Cross Creek Glass, 864-223-3803.
When you donate or shop at Pathway Thrift Store, you are helping local people from Greenwood and Abbeville overcome homelessness. Your donations help provide clothing for our residents, and all of the proceeds from everything we sell goes directly to our ministry to help us provide housing, meals, and training. Located at 1444 Main Street South, Pathway Thrift Store is open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're always restocking our inventory, so each day is a unique shopping experience. Mention this ad at our register for a 10% discount on your next purchase.
Self Regional Healthcare is currently hiring for clinical and support staff positions. At Self Regional, we strive to create the best experience for our patients and our team members. We offer flexible schedules, competitive pay, and generous benefits in an environment that is supportive of your individual needs. Come see what makes Self Regional a great place to work. View our current job openings at selfregional.org/careers.
Hi, this is Brantley with Greenwood Chick-fil-A. Nominate your office, teachers, church group, or team for breakfast for a bunch with WCRS. We love surprising and delighting our Greenwood community. Call or text 86.
Whoa! Let's do that again, folks. 864, you got to give them a call. Got to give them a call. What happened? What happened to our ad here this morning, Ann? Hold on, folks. We got to get back there. We will get back there. All right, it is 10 o'clock in the great city of Greenwood, South Carolina. You are listening on WCRS Radio, and you are also watching live on Facebook, if you choose, at WCRS Radio. Okay, let's try Chick-fil-A Brantley breakfast, but lunch for a breakfast for a bunch.
Hi, this is Brantley with Greenwood Chick-fil-A. Nominate your office, teachers, church group, or team for breakfast for a bunch with WCRS. We love surprising and delighting our Greenwood community. Call or text 864-332-9355. It would be our pleasure. Call or text 864-332-9355 for breakfast for a bunch with WCRS.
I'm little but I'm loud, dangerous and proud. I don't really care if people stop and stare. Little but I'm loud. I ain't fooling around. Just ask anybody here in town. Lift me up, don't turn me down. I rise above the crowd.
Oh, yeah, I rise above the crowd. I'm little, but I'm loud. Yeah, that's me, Ann Eller, always throwing opinions out there. Trying to do it just on the lines here, but sometimes I got to put my opinion in there because, you know, I am a talk show host, so I'm allowed. So, we've got breakfast for a bunch. This last week, we went to the rehab hospital, to the therapy department. They were in love with the breakfast from Chick-fil-A. That's right. So, do you know a group, a teacher group, a teacher church group out there that's helping our community? a business that really works hard for our community that doesn't get a lot of love? Well, we'd like to share the love with Breakfast for a Bunch. So make sure that you go to our you can sign up. You can sign up your own group. You can sign up another group that you recognize that needs to be out there. And you can do that by going to 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. So would you like to do that? Do it today. That's right. Do it today. So I wanted yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that TJ did a story, an interview with Fox Carolina, and I thought it would be, since it's hard to believe, it's been 1 month since we lost DJ Keller and all that our community has been going through. I thought it would be nice to play TJ Shadone's interview right here on WCRS. We are going to play that live right now, or not live, it was pre-recorded, but we are going to play it right here for you. I hope you enjoy hearing what TJ had to say. Oh, let's see. Well, we should be rolling. We should be rolling. Why are we not rolling, Ann? Oh, because
with him this morning to learn what life has been like without his brother in
I
blue.
am playing the video.
Chief Jadoin says the pain comes and goes. And as cliche as he says it sounds, there's been a lot of good that came from this tragedy, including a new perspective and a growing family.
If DJ was here right now, he would tell you he wouldn't take nothing back. You know, the fact that it was him and not one of his brother officers or sister officers, he wouldn't change none of that.
Police Chief TJ Jadoin describes Keller as an avid outdoorsman who came from very humble beginnings, working hard for everything he had. He brought that same work ethic to law enforcement.
He knew what God wanted him to do. He knew that his life was about serving others. I think that God has to make people for those jobs, and there was no doubt when he made DJ, he made a police officer.
But Keller was more than an officer. He was a husband of 10 years and the father of a 2-year-old little girl. Jadoin says Keller's death is teaching others that officers bleed more than blue. The department has received donated food, calls from strangers, and notes from kids. The chief says he's never seen so much support in his 28 years in law enforcement.
I think that our community has come so close together with us that if it wasn't for that, I think it would have been a lot worse on our officers trying to get through this dark time.
And in return, he says his officers are seeing a truer, more nuanced picture of the people they serve.
I think it's given them more of a factual understanding of we're only dealing with about 1% of the population that are bad people. You know, 99.9% of our population are great people.
Jadoin says everybody in the department loved Keller, including his canine Vice, who has since retired and is now living with Keller's wife and little girl.
That's where he'll carry out and serve the rest of his time. Instead of being a police officer, will now be the guardian of Allie and Ella.
Vice won't be the only one looking out for Keller's family.
He's got a little daughter that now we're responsible for raising and we're going to raise.
Jadoin says after 30 days, things are starting to look a little different. No more black bands around officers' badges, fewer flowers at the crash site, and the flag no longer at half staff.
That don't change the fact that DJ's still a part of our family. He's a part of this department, and he'll continue to be a very important part of our culture as we move forward.
The chief says on July 9th, Keller's birthday, Mayor Brandon Smith will declare the day as Officer DJ Keller Day. In the newsroom, Alexa Urbach, Fox Carolina News.
So, so there you go. I think that certainly was a timely and something heartfelt from our police chief, TJ Shadone. So, and that is the thing about life. It does move on. And that's why, that's one of the reasons that I love programs like our Breakfast for a Bunch, because it puts the spotlight on all different people helping our community. So as we move forward in this, it is good to know that they're going to have DJ Keller Day on July 9th. Which is going to be, I think, July 9th. Let's see. Let me look at the calendar here. I just had a thought coming in my brain here. Oh my goodness, Ann. This is my problem with my brain. I keep thinking of things. July 9th will be Thursday, which will be also the first day of the Festival of Discovery. That's what I was thinking, and the Blues Cruise. And of course, we will be having all kinds of interviews with the artists that whole week before. So if you'd like to help out, there are many ways to help out in our community. And of course, we recommend that everybody help out any way you can to make our community a little brighter, to come together. And I do think that it's time for us. I did think it was interesting that TJ Shadone said that how loving our community is, and that the problem area is probably 1%. I thought that was most interesting. So with that in mind, you know me, I'm always finding interesting stories out there. And one interesting story that I found was about a library that's in Denmark. And instead of borrowing a book, you borrow a person. No, you can't take them home. You have to borrow them right there at the library. But people share their life experiences, they share their expertise, and they sit down with you if you want to know about their story or about their expertise, and they give you, I think it was half hour, maybe an hour. You could recheck out the book in the library. I think that's interesting. Well, you can't take this human home with you, but you can check them out there at the library. And you can spend a half hour or an hour asking questions and learning more about the person. So people share life experiences and personal stories, I think, is one of the things that I always enjoy doing right here on WCRS. But would it be interesting if here in Greenwood we had more understanding, we had more listening, and breaking the stereotypes and building community? So can communities become stronger when people spend more time listening to each other rather than shouting at each other? I think the answer is yes. You know, everybody, we always say, and this is a trite phrase, everybody has a story. And the question is, how often, Betty says she has a story, how often do people actually pay attention to the story? How often do you actually listen to what someone is saying? Penny has that problem listening sometimes. Do you think you have that problem? No, not really. I think I get tired of listening to you. Okay, all right, you get tired of listening to me. Okay, I get it. And sometimes I have things that I would like to say. Yes, okay, I can understand that, Penny. But now you're just going to lay down and say, oh, well, I'm not even going to try. Okay. So, but the question is, if we listened more to each other, would we be able to understand maybe where some of our young people come from? Would we be able to understand the stories of somebody maybe that has worked in our community for 30, 40, 50 years, what their perspective is of our community? I think these are all accurate parts. And if Greenwood had a human library, if we had a human library, now this has to be living people. It cannot be people that have gone before. But if we did, who would you want to hear from? Would there be veterans or teachers or police officers, first responders, maybe young adults? How about some seniors there, business owners? Would you like to have that discussion to learn more about the perspective of where those people come from? I think that is what we're all about. I think that the problem with our cell phones and everything is that we have become so connected to getting instant response from that device that we hold in our hand that a lot of people in today's world don't know how to communicate, how to carry on a conversation. Ergo, that's why we see okay, that's why we see so much fraction here, because people don't listen, or we see people at dinner tables or in restaurants texting each other back and forth rather than looking at somebody and telling the story that you want to tell. I think the other thing is we let others communicate for us. We don't communicate ourselves. And so it is so important. That's why, one of the things that I'm glad to see, we don't allow cell phones in the classrooms anymore. I think that's a good thing because it makes people put them away, and it makes people have to speak instead of text or be distracted. I think the other thing about cell phones, our brains become so fractured that we can't even carry on a consistent thought. So that's just a few of my thoughts about that. But I thought the human library, what a great idea. Just think if you could go to the library and check out a human on a various topic. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyways, that's what I think would be. And, the other thing is, can understanding someone's story help reduce division? Can communities become stronger when people feel heard? Of course they do. So maybe we solve every problem in America, but we need to spend more time listening. So I hope you will take that under advice and maybe listen to that grandparent, that senior up the street, get some input from them. And on the other end of it, try to understand where some of our children are coming from and what they deal with in their own family situation. So many times we make assumptions about what other people are dealing with, and we forget one key component. Ask them. And you've got to develop trust, though, to have those conversations. But the human library, I think it's a great idea. Is the first time I read about it was, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and it was in Denmark. Check out a human, have a conversation. Can't take them home, but you can go to a room in the library or maybe outside and sit down and find out what this human being has to talk about. And they are specific topics also. So you can read a chapter at a time if you want. It just happens to be told by a human. All right, we've got some good things coming up in our community. One of the things coming up this weekend is the Bee Buzzin' Bike Tour. That'll be coming up. That is for 20, 30, or 63 miles. Do you know the most popular length of the Bee Buzzin' Bike Tour? Yep, it's the 63 miles. So that is a pretty interesting. Now that starts at the marketplace, Uptown Greenwood, tomorrow. I think it starts at 8 o'clock. Check scfestivaloflowers.org. That's scfestivaloflowers.org for all the details. Yes, you can still sign up for it. A lot of people will be out there, and the weather is going to be great. Maybe a little hot, but it's still going to be great. Also, coming up on Sunday will be the Flag Day celebration at Howard's. That's always on a Sunday, and it is on a Sunday. Flag Day, I think, is actually this Sunday. So that will be going on, and that's at 6 p.m. That's That's a couple of the things that will be going on. We do have one more weekend where they will have a lot of things going on. They'll have the coming up on June 27th, which is not next weekend, but the weekend after. They'll have the Pollinator Week celebration. So that would be another good thing to check out, All right, what else do we have coming up here? We have some more things. Let's see what I got here for you. I think I saw something that looked pretty cool. Let me see. No, I don't want that. Let me try this again. Got a trigger finger here. They are having, I saw this. This looked kind of interesting. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., Boat a Coke, there you go. Boat karaoke bash at the Upper Sandbar, Lake Greenwood. Get ready to rock the dock and float the notes. We're turning up the volume on Lake Greenwood. Join us for a sun-soaked day of music, laughter, and lake vibes at the Sandbar. Whether you're a shower singing superstar or just here for the fun, hop aboard, grab a bite, expect epic sing-alongs, surprise duets, and floating dance-off. Bring your best tunes, cold drinks, good vibes, and let's make some waves. That is at the Sandbar. And so I don't know much about the Sandbar, but I thought I would go ahead and mention that. Also, coming up next Saturday is the Greenwood Shrine Club 8th Annual Boat Run. That should be interesting. So they will be giving out more information. We'll talk more about it. But that's the Shrine Club Boat Run. So we'll see if we can get you some more information on that. That is next Saturday. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. All right, other things coming up in the events. What else did I have that I wanted to make sure that we knew about? The Blues Cruise is going to be cruising into town, as I said, right after the 4th of July. We are going to start, I think it's on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We will be doing interviews with all the music, not all. Well, I think we're doing 14 interviews in 3 days. That's a lot of interviews, Ann. They'll be live on Facebook. They will also be on the radio. Purpose of this is to help you find out about who you might like to go see. So we'll be talking about the location where they'll be. We'll be telling you, you'll learn some about the artists. We'll play some of their music. Because with as many acts that are in town for that weekend, it is very hard to cover them all. So we started this, I guess, about, oh my goodness, it's been 15, 16 years, maybe 17 years. We've been doing this for years, doing the interviews, talking to the artists, finding a little bit about them, and then carrying on. So I think this is always part of the Blues Cruise that I definitely look forward to. So I hope you'll be able to join us for that right here on WCRS. We actually start a little early on that day. Also, coming up, this isn't till Friday, June 26th, which is the weekend before the 4th of July, at the museum. They are going to have a children's event from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Greenwood Museum. They are going to have a revolutionary adventure for kids. Karen Petit, who's written a very cool book about Louis, her dog, who jumps back into history and discovers some of the origins of the Revolutionary War. So they are going to have, you'll be able to actually sign a Declaration of Independence. You'll be able to make a 3-sided hat. You'll be able, a tricorn hat. You'll also can see a spinning wheel in action, and of course tour the new exhibit that is open now. So anytime you'd like to go when the museum is open, Wednesday through Friday from 10 to 5:30, Saturdays, Wednesday through Friday, and then Saturday same hours, you can tour the museum. They have done quite an expansive exhibit about the road to the revolution in the upstate. So I hope you'll go by and spend some time. This is a great exhibit for children. As far as the exhibit, it's a great exhibit for children. They've got activities and all kinds of things there. But this event on Friday, June 26th, is totally child-centric. And that, again, is going on from 10:30 to 12:30. I think Karen's going to probably read a selection from her book. She's actually going to have Louie there. Oh my God, Louie's going to be there, I do believe. So they're going to have a good time on that. So Celebrate America is the name of the book. The People Declare Independence. So she will be reading from her book that has gotten a lot of great reviews out there. She travels around not only in the Carolinas, but has been all over with this book. So congratulations, Karen Petit, on this. All right, so what else do I have for you here this afternoon? I know I have more. I always have more. My problem is I always run out of time. Some of the other events coming up. The Y is doing a their 175th year. You know, we talked about the Y being 175 years old. Well, now they've got a program going on. It's called Y Strong, celebrating 175 years of strengthening our community. You know, the Y, I think, sometimes is a little underrated, maybe a little underappreciated for all the things they do for our communities, because they have been helping children grow, empowering families, building a healthier, stronger tomorrow. So this is a fundraising program that they have wanted to go so that they can go to the next level. You can choose everywhere from $17.50 to $175 to more. But this is a way that they have projects they would like to do, and they're hoping the community will help them do that. But in my experience in working with the YMCA, I think it is amazing how many programs that they have, how many when they identify a need that they do. For example, did you know that the YMCA handles not only their own pool program, they handle the one over there at the country club, and now they're handling the splash pad. That's a tremendous undertaking. Have you ever been to their Y uptown there, where they do small group training, and it's a great place if you just want to, if you're a member of the Y, it works at either place, but you just want to run in and do a quick workout. That place is there. Do you know about all the programs they have for children? They currently are doing their summer camps, but they have soccer. They have, they just have so much that I think sometimes we don't realize all the great programs that the Y has and what a great community partner they are to work with and to help accomplish things in this community. So I wanted to mention that one right there. 175 years. 175 years. So that's pretty cool. I do want to remind you one more time, make sure you sign your group up for what? Breakfast with a Bunch. Breakfast with a Bunch, 864-332-9355. Make sure you do that today. You'll be glad you did. And who knows, if you sign up a group and you're not part of that group, you'll get something special from Chick-fil-A. And the group, if we pick them, they will get a delicious breakfast. And the Greenwood Rehabilitation Hospital, the therapy group over there, said, oh, it was delish, and they appreciated it so much. So that's pretty cool. We also have coming up this Saturday at the Greenwood Library from 11 to 12. They are doing Dynamo Dogs. Get ready for action-packed show the whole family will love. The Dynamo Dogs are coming to the Greenwood Library with a high-energy canine variety show featuring rescue and adopted dogs showing off their amazing talents. I wish I could be at this. I'm going to tell you this. I like to have some more things I could teach Penny. There you go. Anyways, it looks like that is Saturday from 11 to 12 at the American Veterans Auditorium at the Greenwood Main Library. It says perfect for babies, toddlers, children, tweens, teens, and families. This exciting performance is sure to have everyone cheering on these talented dogs. Don't miss it. This program is designed for children with accompanying accompanying adults. There you go. Please plan to attend and be engaged with your child at this program. So there you go. Love for you to be there and have a good time and see these dogs. So that's another one. What else do I have? Do I have anything else? Do want to remind you that there are free summer meals for kids, the summer food service program, helping ensure no child goes hungry this summer. It starts June 1st, goes through July 17th. Dates are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 12. Location is at the Edgewood Community Center, which is over there in 96. Who can participate? All children and teens, 18-year-olds and younger, eat free. So this is a program you can go by and pick up food, and they just want to help you. If you've got any questions, you can call 864-337-6980. That's 864-337-6980. So make sure that you are doing that today. All right. I have a lot more, of course, I could talk about, but I think I'm done here. Penny's got a lesson I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Penny's got a lesson today, so we got to get prepared to get in the zone for learning. That's right, for learning here. Penny, what do you think about that? She goes, I am not paying any attention. You know, I take Penny, actually, they're coming here today. See, she's sleeping. C3 Kennels will be coming here today, and we'll be out in the yard learning some more activities like the one to... Here, Penny, here. Yes, so we're going to be learning that this morning after she has some breakfast. So I got to go get ready. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll be here tomorrow morning. We're going to be playing some tunes. Hope you join us right here on WCRS. Are you ready for breakfast, Penny? You want some breakfast? Oh, hurry up and get my breakfast. All right, I will. That's going to do it for me and for Penny right here on WCRS Radio. Take it away. Drop the curtain. We're going to cue the music, Penny. And that's it for us. Bye-bye, everybody.